What's up, Sports Wars, and welcome back to Geeks and Gamers Talk Wrestling. Joining me once again is Zach Attack. What is up, Zach? How's it going?
Oh, man, I hate that. But, yeah, I'm here.
I'm gonna call you it all the time then.
Oh, please don't.
Jerk, Zach Attack. Anyway.
Oh, it is a Miz. Leave me alone. No, okay, go ahead.
Corey, how are you doing, bud?
Freaking-tastic.
Great. Probably a lot better than Zach Attack. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about unsung heroes of the Attitude Era. So obviously we got our Stone Colds, we got our The Rocks, we got our big staples of the Attitude Era. But what about those lesser known guys or guys that maybe were known but weren't as appreciated or as talked about when we talk about the Attitude Era? So Corey, get us started off. So who's someone that's in mind for you for an unsung hero of the Attitude Era?
For some reason, the first person that always comes to my mind whenever we talk about people in the lower tier is Steve Blackman.
That's who I was going to say.
Sorry. What was his name again?
Zach Attack. Sorry, Zach Attack.
No, I didn't say it. So, but no, Steve Blackman. I couldn't tell you. Maybe you can do better than me. It's just I can't tell you a match in particular or anything like that. But
how about one of the
Blackman? And
wait a minute.
Good wrestler. I like him.
You bring up Steve Blackman, but you can't bring up one of the best spots of all time with Shane McMahon in it. We talk about spot monkeys on our show all the time, and we blow spot monkeys up. But Shane McMahon has one of the best spots ever in spot monkey history. It was when Steve Blackman hits him in the back. I think it was Backlash. Was it Backlash? Maybe. I can't remember what pay-per-view it was. They're on side of the Titantron. Steve Blackman hits him with the kendo stick. Shane lets go. The Titantron falls back, and Steve's like standing there. I mean, come on.
You're welcome, Zach Attack. I gave that to you.
So, speaking of Zach Attack, what is one of your unsung heroes of the Attitude Era?
It probably will always be my favorite female wrestler of the Attitude Era, which is Jazz coming down and just wrecking house with what was her dude's name? Marcus something. See, there's an unsung guy like I can't remember his name, but it used to be him, her, and Teddy Long back in the day. They'd come out together, but I can't remember who it is.
You talking about
Oh. The black dude with, oh my God, the boxer cat.
Yeah. No. Damn.
They were married at one point, but Jazz has always been my favorite female one of my favorite female wrestlers. And just WWE never let her have the spotlight that she deserves because her and Trish Stratus could have probably had some tear down women's matches. Jazz back in ECW had great hardcore matches with some of the men and stuff in there, doing some great things with
Rodney Mack.
Rodney Mack, there it is.
Yeah. People were screaming in the
Mac Militich.
Also, her husband.
It was her husband. Yeah, I said that.
He said that.
Yeah, I did.
Fun fact. Zach Attack, you got the facts, man.
I know
Zach
the facts.
got the facts.
Sometimes. Oh, I hate you guys.
MC Odin.
But no, Jazz absolutely is a good choice. I mean, I think that especially when you talk about, because obviously we most people's minds will probably go to male wrestlers of the Attitude Era because that's usually where people go to. But people oftentimes forget just how great Jazz was for the women's division at the time because, that was obviously when there was a lot of questionable things going on still, the bras and panties and things like that. And she was a dominant force to be recognized.
She was like a legit female wrestler being put into you could be calling it the beginning of the diva era of wrestling, or like you said, the bra and panties. But she was that legitimacy to the women's division that was missing. Trish and Lita and Jacqueline and Ivy and all those girls were killing it and trying to make a legitimacy to the division. But Jazz was that real legitimacy to wrestling at that time for female wrestling.
Yeah, I mean the announcers always made it a point to sell that she was who she was. She was very dominant. She was scary, over the top in comparison to everybody else. But yeah, I mean, really, when you look back at it, you know, several female wrestlers were like that. But
Oh yeah, you had Molly Holly. You
Right.
had so many that were just amazing. And Molly Holly hooking up with somebody posted on We Talk Wrestling just this week about it, where Hurricane kidnapped Molly Holly, and she became Mighty Molly.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that was the storyline.
And that's things that don't get shoved into your just shoved into your face constantly, so you forget about it. But yeah, I mean that's classic stuff.
That was a great moment. Or when one of my favorite moments, in it was more so to the end of the Attitude Era, was like when Booker T and Goldust were having their feud, where Goldust wanted to be Booker T's friend, but Booker T didn't want to be Goldust's friend, and then he gets struck by. Well, he didn't get struck by lightning. He got fucking thrown into the panel and electrocuted. And be like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'm a huge Goldust fan."
So you just stole my unsung hero, Goldust, by far.
Really, Goldust.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Where's your lightsaber? Where's your lightsaber?
Why?
What? Why?
Because really? Okay, now we're gonna call people out about skits. Come on.
Yes, the Darth Vader skit where yes.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. But no, the reason why is because he's just like he could be put in any situation and work. Like he really was just that guy. Like he was a solid worker. Still to this day, I mean, obviously he doesn't wrestle as much anymore, but still a great worker. Like when they were repackaging him as like old classic Goldust, I was getting very excited. This was just like over the last year or so that they were doing that. I was so excited because it was one of the coolest characters when he would just, get into that film director role and just start giving those amazing promos. And again, I think he's an unsung hero, not just the Attitude Era, but of the WWE in general.
No, I can totally get behind you on that one where he was. Oh no, like Goldust is definitely a pinpoint standout. His feud with, was it Piper?
Yeah,
where he kissed Piper.
WrestleMania, the one with Shawn and Brett. I can't remember the number right now. I'm looking something up.
That was a
backyard brawl.
Oh my god, that was an amazing build and everything towards that. So no, I'm right there with Goldust 100%. Jamie Noble would be another one of my that was at the end of the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
That I absolutely loved.
He was definitely unsung because what a lot of people don't understand about Jamie Noble, not only was he featured just over the last few years, he was a part of that authority figure team at the time, but also too is that a lot of people forgot that he was still wrestling for the company for a long time. He was just put in every single dark match, essentially. Like he was put in matches that just never got on TV. And it was just one of those things where, again, talk about underappreciated and undervalued. Like he was that guy that would always warm up the crowd. Like he was always the guy that would go out there because he was a solid wrestler. Not
only that, Jamie Noble's been one of the guys that has been helping build the future of wrestling. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean he was an indie guy before. I mean a lot of people don't even think about that. He was tearing up the indies before.
Young Dragons, baby. WCW days.
Yeah, well, he was having matches in
ECW, ROH. I mean, the list goes on.
FIP, I think I want to say it was him and is it him and Homicide? I think had like a match that ended up in a strip club, or maybe it was Punk and Homicide. I can't remember, but I had the DVD like 8 years ago, and it was right when I was getting into CM Punk, and I was like, oh shit, Jamie Noble. And,
Jamie Noble and Spanky are two of my favorite cruiserweights of the Attitude Era into the PG era. Especially when Jamie Noble and Nydia got together and they did the trailer park gimmick. Oh my god, that was fucking classic.
Things you will never see come back, but were so good when they happened.
Jimmy Wang Yang would be another one of those cruiserweights that was just
okay.
Yes.
Was he Attitude Era though, or was he?
He's more right at the cuff of where the PG and Attitude Era, or where it'd be Ruthless Aggression.
Right.
And from Attitude Era to Ruthless Aggression.
Okay. Yeah, so like for me, like talking about like things that you just wouldn't see in today's world, I'm still holding out hope that one day the lights will go out, they'll come back on, and someone will be covered in blood, and we will get blood.
Oh, the Brood.
Gangrel and the Brood to me, because obviously Edge and Christian went on to do like really great things. They're still
You mean
doing
Edge?
great things for the company. Edge and Christian. That's what I said.
You mean Edge?
Oh,
Edge is the only one that did anything.
Oh, what?
Are you kidding me? No.
What?
Christian-
As a unit,
Christian-
they worked together, and they both did great things. If you're talking about greatest tag teams of all time, Edge and Christian are always going to be in that conversation.
Oh, bro, E and C.
Right,
No, E and C.
Conversation. And then guess what's going to happen? Christian also is a fantastic singles wrestler. Yes. Did he get ignored? Absolutely. But guess what happened? He went off to TNA. He made his name for himself. He came
Christian
back.
Cage all day.
He was given,
Christian
guess what?
Cage.
He was given the title. He was given the title when he came back. So you know what? You can just take your Edge got good job, Edge did job, and suck it.
I'm just saying, in WWE world, Edge is the only one that made it out of that group.
No, that's crap. Christian also did it. Again, Christian is part of the greatest tag teams of all time, and also he had a pretty decent singles career. Not as good as it could have been because obviously Vince McMahon just did not believe in him as a singles competitor. But you cannot tell me that he is not up there, at least with the tag team division. He made a name for himself.
I mean, I really enjoyed that little bit that he had in the WWE ECW. Like,
Oh yes, yes.
I mean, I know that most people aren't too fond of that, but I really
When he became the
enjoyed
heel and asking for one more match all
one
the
more
time.
match. Yeah. But we're going down like 7 different rabbit holes right
No,
now.
not at all. Because I'm sorry, Christian. At last.
When him and Tomko were together, was the greatest time. Him and Tomko as a team. Oh, when the fireworks came down as in a sheet, and he would be like walking out underneath of it. Yes, I
At last,
I am a
on
Pete.
your own.
I'm a
You're
Pete.
obviously not
100%.
Oh no.
No, I'm just telling you from a WWE standpoint, Christian never was anything. Like, we love him. He's definitely an unsung hero.
All right,
Look at it that way.
Whatever, Zack Attack. Whatever you have to say, man.
Okay, what about somebody like R-Truth?
Quick.
Yeah,
Quick, exactly. Yeah, Ron the Truth Killings. I mean, what about somebody like that? They were right there on the cusp.
I mean, the Cuffs are getting fired all the time, but yeah, I don't know how he's kept his job. Dude,
Because
once again, another wrestler that I absolutely love. And when they finally made R-Truth turn to face against John Cena and stuff and start doing the little Jimmy gimmick, I was all for it and I was with it and I wanted to see it happen. But, like, once again, that's a guy that went to TNA and became cool. Like, did nothing in WWE. And has never done anything in WWE.
I beg to differ, but I get where you're coming from.
Christian's at least won titles and had decent feuds and, all that stuff. But, I mean, I'm sorry. R-Truth will never be anything in Vince McMahon's eyes, unfortunately. And we all see the greatness of R-Truth.
I think Vince McMahon sees that wonderful hip-hop song that he was just like, bring him back.
The fact that he's been
What's
allowed
up?
to keep singing that song, What's Up, several times over the course of his career.
They tried to change it, and it didn't go very well.
I mean,
All I can say is the best rivalry on television right now is Alicia Fox versus R-Truth. Best rivalry.
It's
Current.
not,
What?
It's not Alicia
It's
Fox.
Carmella versus
Carmella.
Alicia
Oh,
Fox.
sorry, whatever. Carmella.
He just wants to erase Carmella so bad.
Let's say Carmella just doesn't
Put somebody else
not
there.
matter.
Because everybody gets a title match that they pin Carmella.
She was giving a promo on SmackDown this week, and I was just like,
You better watch your back.
good lord. Anyway, getting back on track. I would put this duo also as far as being unsung heroes. Obviously, a lot of people have a lot of great memories about this duo, but they did a lot of great things. APA. I thought it was a really cool thing to see.
That is a baby.
That is a baby.
I did not know.
One of the many results of the Attitude Era.
You're talking about babies and APA, not baby. What the fuck? You're talking about APA. I don't see APA as like a unsung hero because I personally see them as a backbone group. They were a definite standing point for the Attitude Era as a mainstay character. They were on damn near almost every Raw.
Right, but to me,
They're not going to be on your top 10
agree.
list of people
Right.
who you like associate with the Attitude Era, though.
Like,
No, fuck you. Yeah, yes, they are. They're on my top 10 list,
They might
100%.
be on your Zack Attack. They might be on Zack Attack's top 10 list, but for most
People need to get on my fucking level then. How about that? When I think Attitude Era, I think APA, DX, Scotty 2 Hotty, and Grandmaster Sexy, The Rock and Stone Cold, Mr. McMahon, like
all right, hey, okay,
Edge and Christian.
Okay, Val Venus.
Oh, so you actually you'll
Somebody-
count Christian and Edge and Christian. Okay, I got you.
No. Oh my God. Get your head out of your ass on that one. I'm not saying Christian's a bad. Like I am 100% a Peaches fan. I love
You
Christian.
can roll back the tape, and we'll let the viewers decide for
Yeah.
themselves.
We'll let the viewers decide. They're not gonna roast me like you think.
Oh, they will. They'll.
I challenge them to. I will come back with spit and fire, man. Go ahead. What Val Venus? Hello, ladies.
Oh yes, Val Venus for sure.
Yeah, Val Venus. He was a staple of.
Oh no, but you know what I would say? He was a staple. He would be on my top 10 list.
I mean, I've always been a fan of Val Venus.
I love Val Venus too.
You put two hands on the big Balboski, it tell you exactly what time it is. Come on, man. When
I love
they
this
cut off his fucking what
Choppy.
choppy kind tie.
Storyline is so Kai and Tai. There's a team that you can talk about.
Well, oh damn it, what's that dude's Japanese name that's on their group?
Funaki.
Not Funaki, not number one announcer.
Takamitsu.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Right there, 100%. One of the fucking unsung heroes of the light heavyweight division. Him and
Okay.
I cannot believe I'm about to say this. So step back because I'm about to say something that's going to hurt me a lot because I am not a fan of this guy whatsoever. Him and X-Pac had some dope-ass matches for the fucking light heavyweight title.
There's something wrong with X-Pac. X-Pac's a great wrestler.
No, I don't like X-Pac.
X-Pac's great. Well,
I'm not
kid X-Pac. Great.
I'm not saying he was good. He was great in the ring. I personally just do not like X-Pac. Like, to me, he's one of the most scummy pieces of shits on this earth. Like, no.
AKA.
Sorry.
He's friends with Shawn Michaels.
No, see, I actually have respect and love for Shawn Michaels. I'm a Triple H guy, 100%. I'll admit it to anybody and everybody. I am 100% Triple H through and through. Like, he was what made DX great, in my opinion. It was not.
It's all making sense now.
It was not a Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels rode the coattails of the great Triple H. Triple H took heat, came back, and still made himself one of the biggest wrestlers that ever. So, we'll I mean, once again, another reason why going into this end of the last of the end of the feud thing with fucking Undertaker, I could care less about it. But let's go back to Attitude Era. Let's go back to Attitude Era. Let's go back to Attitude Era.
Yeah, we can't talk about that.
Let's go back to Attitude Era.
God fucking forbid that. And that's my one F-bomb because I'm trying to get better. So
fuck that.
Okay, you can
go ahead and keep throwing those bombs, getting us demonetized, all that jazz.
Yeah, take them for me because I'm gonna be a good boy.
But let's talk about another duo who also had some pretty interesting singles careers as well. The Hardys. I mean, not the Hardys. Those were definitely a staple. The Hollies. Crash.
Oh yes, Crash. Walking out with the fucking weight thing because he was underweight for the light heavyweight title. Like,
oh my god, too. And you know what? It was really great. Not just about Crash Holly, but also the fact that he reminds me of one of the best parts of the Attitude Era. If you want unsung hero, I got one for you. The hardcore title.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Mick Foley's present.
Yep. Totally unappreciated. I want that title back because you know what? It was just damn fun. It was fun to have new champions, like to have 5 new champions all in one night every single week, and then to have like the guys who could somehow make it last longer than that. It was phenomenal. It was fantastic.
So when you were watching it though, I mean, I know like looking back fondly on it, it sounds really fun, but do you remember genuinely being excited. Okay.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
not trying to call you out. I'm literally asking you
Because one,
Who-
you brought hardcore
wasn't it
elements.
wasn't it
So you had, like,
Ivory?
use of trash cans and everything else, but also you had that aspect too, where like anyone
Right.
could literally win the championship.
Was it who was it? I know it was a female. Was it Ivory who like snuck into Crash's locker room and like pinned him while he was sleeping?
Yes.
Like, that's great. There's just so many cool things they could do.
So I brought that up in a recent on the commute for We Talk Wrestling, is where I talked about titles that I wanted to see back and where I wanted to see them, and not necessarily bring back the hardcore title per se, but a 24-hour title. We need. I'm with you, Odin, 100%. They need to bring that title back some shape, some form.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have to be hardcore-ish. Just a 24-hour title where anything can happen anywhere. Where we can have those fun little spots back, where Crash Holly is having a fight at the fucking, was it like McDonald's or something in the ball pit?
yeah, that's right. Like
that's,
you could have some, like, since they need to fill time with Raw anyway, why not fill it with like actual comedy gold?
Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. Oh my god!
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
I kind of got a wrestling Woody on that one.
Hardcore Championship was just so fantastic.
No, I'm with you on that. Hardcore title was great. In the way they brought it about, where Mr. McMahon crushed it, or no, it was crushed. It was supposedly that it was the one that was crushed by somebody the previous week or whatever, and then Mr. McMahon gave it to Mick Foley as a present. to say you're my champion, basically.
It was so good. And also, like, all right, so now for some like actual heat controversy. Maybe it depends on what wrestling fans are watching this right now. So here's my quick hot take. Someone who is very underappreciated, but for like probably the most legitimate reasons, and that has to be Chris Benoit. Because if we can separate real life from the wrestling product itself, no one can take away what Chris Benoit did in the ring and the amazing matches that he had during that Attitude Era. I'm sorry. Like, I know that what he did is terrible. I know that what he did, is something that is definitely something that taints his career image. But I'm sorry, as a wrestler in the ring, fantastic. I'm sorry. Like, some of the best matches were with Chris Benoit.
As a whole, I'm with you 100% because I think the Radicals as a whole for that era, that time frame, WWE missed the ball huge on the Radicals. Chris Benoit is arguably one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I've stated it before and I'll state it again. I am 100% for Horsemen. So he has a honorary Four Horsemen because he was part of the Four Horsemen in WCW. So Chris Benoit is one of my favorites. Hate me for saying it. I still don't believe 100% he did everything. Some things don't add up in my opinion on the thing, but that's just the conspiracy theorist. Unfortunately, science points to him.
Also mental health too. I mean, we're only starting just now to learn so much about like concussions and just the effect that it can have on people. So like me,
he had a brain of an 80-year-old or something like that. Like, what he did was shitty and horrible, but
excuse what happened, but at the same time, I think just crapping all over him and
is
not
wrong.
Find out exactly what happened and what drove him to do those things. Like, that's, to me, is a wrong thing to do. And it's sad that a guy like that, just based on his wrestling career alone, will never be in the Hall of Fame. Will never get his due. Will never have, those matches featured just because. And again, you understand why.
Well,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why that's the case, but it's just sad because some of the best matches in that time featured Chris Benoit. I mean, the best of 7 series were like just, oh my goodness.
You can go back on the network now and find him. So he's not completely erased anymore. Yeah. I'm with you. Oh my God, I'm with you. So like there's one wrestler that I would put above The Miz in any category. It is Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit and Jericho are probably like 2 of my favorite wrestlers to come out of WCW, to come out of ECW, besides Eddie Guerrero, which is another unsound hero. Perry Saturn.
Yeah.
We talk about fucking. I told you how I was not a fan of the Velveteen Dreams, Rolling Death Valley Drivers, because Perry Saturn made the Death Valley Drivers so fucking brutal looking.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it right
It
anymore.
was a brain buster. Like, that's what it was. Yeah, absolutely. That's why when John Cena started doing his fireman's carry, because that's what it is. It's just a fireman's carry, which is stupid. Like, immediately I was like, this is stupid. Perry Saturn did an actual Death Valley Driver, like an actual brain buster, and it looked awesome. And this just looks stupid. Like, to me, to this day, one of the dumbest finishers of all time is still the FU, the attitude adjustment, whatever it is you want to call it these days. But anyway, getting back to Perry Saturn, though, again, also, too, a guy that, to me, was kind of abused creatively. You know, they put him in a lot of...
no, I like Mop.
Moppy. I do like when Moppy went through the wood chipper. That was hilarious. Moppy!
Moppy, and he came out in the fucking dress. Oh, Perry Saturn. Oh, my God, I love you. One of the best Raven flocks.
Like, he was a guy that obviously, like, you know, it was funny, but I feel like he could have been given so much more for the talent that he had in the ring.
Oh, agreed, 100%. Corey, we haven't heard from you. Come on, jump in.
Well, I know, like, whenever everything was going on with Perry Saturn, he was going through some stuff. Injuries caused a lot of issues, and if I'm not mistaken, he was going through some substance abuse issues.
Yeah, drug abuse, bad.
That cut his career. That whole thing. I was gonna say too, if you listen to podcasts, if you have time, two that you need to go back and listen to are the Gold Dust. I was gonna say that earlier. Something to Wrestle With. That is a really, really, really informative and good podcast, especially if you're into, you know, the character Gold Dust. And the other is the Radicals, because Bruce Pritchard was really good friends with Eddie Guerrero. So, I mean, it's like he goes very deep in detail about everything. And it's just, it's crazy. It's kind of heart-wrenching, but man, like, just stuff that you didn't know.
Well, they were supposed to be, correct me if I'm wrong, they were supposed to be a bigger faction than they were actually to be, but due to Perry Saturn's injuries, drug abuse, and then certain other injuries in the group, I think Dean Malenko got hurt for a while there, the group disbanded earlier than it was supposed to, correct?
I believe so. Actually, I'm trying to remember, because that day that I listened to that, I think I listened to like 4 different shows. So I was probably like drowning out at that point. But I'm pretty sure what you just said is right. And then also there was rumor that they only wanted Chris Benoit at one point. Like, he, you know, everybody else was kind of like, you know, if they come, okay, we'll make them an offer. And I found that to be interesting too, because it was always made out that it was a package deal, but in reality it was Benoit, and then they were like, yeah, we want the other guys, but Benoit was the one that got paid.
Cool. I just absolutely love Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko. I'm sorry, during the like hardcore part of the Attitude Era, I'm going to be admitting right now that I was a WCW guy. Mm-hmm. So, like, it wasn't...
I was, too. I originally was at WCW and then eventually realized, like, because they started winning the Monday Night War.
Right. I didn't jump to... It was after the Finger Poke of Doom that I jumped over to WWE.
Yeah, I don't know.
It might have been later than that, actually. Vince Russo might have joined WCW when I finally jumped ship to go to WWE. Because, like, I remember a lot of WWE stuff, WWF at the time. But it was always about WCW to me. So, Raven's Flock, all that stuff. And really, how can we not say that's part of the Attitude Era? Like, you know, people automatically just go Attitude Era right into WWE. But if it wasn't for the Outsiders, if it wasn't for the NWO, there was no Attitude Era. There would have been no... So, like, the Attitude Era was originally started in WCW, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
That is a good point. And I feel like that's a good transition point to kind of, you know, give some closing thoughts. So, you know, Corey, what's your closing thoughts on this? Any other unsung heroes or any last-minute thoughts on the whole, you know, the WCW aspect of trying to tie in together of this Attitude Era being cross-promotion, essentially?
I'm gonna work my way back around to the first thing that I talked about, and that's Steve Blackman. Mick Foley, I think it was like 2 years ago on Facebook, posted a picture of a T-shirt that said "The Many Faces of Steve Blackman," and it's just the same face in like Brady Bunch style. I was like, "Oh my god, I need that shirt," and I can't find it. It came up on my Facebook feed in the memories the other day,
Oh.
and I was just like, "That's so bittersweet."
Steve Blackman and Lance Storm were two of my favorite fucking just. I love those two.
We were supposed to argue about something. What were we supposed to argue about?
You wanted to argue about the Shawn Michaels,
No. Shh.
that stuff.
Shh. No,
Then I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
never mind.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so Zack Attack. How about you? What any closing thoughts?
I mean, like I said, I truly believe both WCW and ECW, not ECW, not really. ECW kind of could be put in there, but really WCW and WWE. I think the Attitude Era really goes combined with those two because, you had NWO Invasion and stuff, and they brought the realism to wrestling. And they brought that, like, oh, shit, these guys were over there, and now they're over here. What the fuck kind of thing scenario. And then you had just, like, great groups like Raven's Flock that got underappreciated in WCW. The Cruiserweight division.
5,000 of them, and you couldn't tell what was going on. Besides
What?
One.
There's Loki. Loki. Sick Boy. Kidman, and Sign Guy.
And Reese.
Yeah, Reese. And Raven. And Perry.
And
There were six guys.
Van Hammer.
Oh, Cannon. Cannon's part of.
Nobody's better than Canyon.
And Van
There,
Van
right
Hammer.
there. There's a. Oh, rest in peace, Canyon. There's a
Wait, he
fucking.
passed away?
Yes, unfortunately, he passed away. If I'm not mistaken, to drug abuse.
Oh no.
Another unsound. Oh, I'm just going on now. Test AP. Not.
Test? Really?
Oh fuck! Test's big boot was the shit, dude.
Okay.
How are you not a Test fan? TNA was stable. Not stable. Stacy Keibler. Go.
Well,
What?
Too excited. Too excited.
TNA was great.
And that
And that brings up another
TNA
Albert.
was Trish Stratus.
Albert. No.
Albert, Trish Stratus, and Test. TNA.
Yeah, but didn't they get Stacy Keibler later on?
I don't really remember that.
I think they got Stacy Keibler later on because then like she turned and went to the Dudleys, right?
Let me check my Google machine.
Yeah.
Am I not? If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah. If I had to
put me in my wrestling place.
if I had to like close out with some last minute things, I would say that there are two. There's one group, and then there's one person that I would love to give a shout out to. So first, the person, the Godfather. I mean, what more needs to be said about the
Welcome to the
Godfather?
whole train.
I mean, so many things, but also he was great in the ring. So that also leads to the story arc of him in Right to Censor.
Yes,
Probably one of my
who won? They won.
Yes, they did. They
The
did
Right to
win.
Censor won. Oh.
So that's why you can really just look at the fact that the Attitude Era won, probably thanks to, in part, the work of Right to Censor. So thank you, Right to Censor, for bringing the PG era that you always wanted. In the
Oh, Right to Censor. Stevie Richardson. Oh my God. Oh.
And no, it was always Test, Albert, and Trish.
Well,
So
hey,
now that Zack Attack's been proven wrong once again, I think that
it's not once again. Shut up.
for Corey and Zack Attack, I am Odin, and thank y'all so much for joining us once again on Sports Wars for Geeks and Gamers Talks Wrestling. Y'all are amazing. Love you guys so much, and stay around, or rather, stick around until next week when we come back with another episode. Have a good one, guys.
Peace.